Hi, this is Sweet June coming back at you with another video. If you're new to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I don't wondering if you heard, and I'm sure you have because this is trending about Whoopi Goldberg everywhere, and people are very outraged about her comments about um, uh, Jewish comments. That's not what my video is going to be about. I'm not really going to comment about. I know they said she got suspended from The View because um, had some, uh, she had some opinions about the Jews that it was a situation to where she was just not educated. She was not educated on this. I'll just state it like that. But that's not what my video is going to be about. I was reading because I'm not really. I'm gonna go ahead and digress on that one. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm not gonna go into all that, but um, I was on Facebook and I was reading a blog when people were talking about it in a blog, and of course, a lot of people were saying she should be fired, and a good percentage of people in this blog, and it was like thousands and thousands of comments in this blog, and a good percentage of them were saying that she needed to be fired, and this and that and other. Like I said, I'm not going to really go into all that. Um, but I noticed a lot of people, white people, were saying, calling her a racist, um, calling her a race baiter. It was kind of a few of them that said that she was a race baiter, and I've seen white people make comments about that before, about Whoopi Goldberg, calling her a race baiter. I asked someone the question, so they came out and said that she was a racist, and I just came out and asked them, what makes her a racist? I haven't got that response back yet. So that's what I want to talk about. Why is it Whoopi, when she, not talking about this situation, but when Whoopi is on The View and she's discussing racism in America against black people, racism in America is unacceptable on all races of people, whether it be black, regardless of your religion or whatever, what country you're from, what your nationality is. Racism is unacceptable, period. I'm going to go on record for saying that. That any race and nationality is unacceptable. However, when she speaks out against racism, black people's experience of racism in this country, and when Whoopi does speak out against it, she's educating. Because I've ran into this situation before where I was trying to educate a white person about racism, and I was accused of being a racist. That's the question I want to ask. Why is it that when a black person, every time a black person discusses racism with white people, why do we get accused of being a race baiter, and why do we get accused of being racist? That just really that just that that kind of upsets me. You know what I mean? Because and I've been literally accused of the same thing, and all I literally was trying to do was I was trying to educate them on racism. They had this term. I was reading this book on I was reading excerpts from this book called White Fragility, and I haven't read the whole book. I was reading different parts of it, and it's pretty interesting. It talks about how when black people try to educate white people on racism, how of the different feelings that it talks about the different feelings that white people have when black people try to educate them on racism. And actually, I think if if I'm not mistaken, that book was written by a white person. But it talks about the different feelings and everything that white people have when black people try to educate them on racism. And I just think it's and when she does, I just don't appreciate people calling her a racist, because she's simply trying to educate. When Whoopi does talk about race, she's trying to educate. When any black person talks about racism, they are trying to educate. We're trying to educate you. I've ran into the same problem where I was literally accused of being a racist because I was simply trying to educate. I was trying to educate this person on racism and stuff, and it's like they deflect. You, a lot of times you get a lot of deflection, and in this book, right, Fragility explains why they do that. I haven't read the whole book, but it explains why they have those feelings. It's really a good book. I think I'm gonna go ahead and give it a read. Um, it explains the reason why they have those feelings, and that's that's a form of, that's a way of deflecting. So I noticed that a lot of people in this blog were saying that she's a racist, and I actually asked someone, what makes her a racist? I haven't got a response back yet, and it because of the fact that it's like, I don't know what, I don't know. They expect for black people to not speak out against racism. How can we not speak out against it? Are we supposed to just not say anything about it? That we supposed to act like everything is okay, and we're not living in a racist country? I mean, I just think that um when black people are trying to educate, it's just it just one of the things that just ruffles my feathers, that you know um we get accused of. I was having a conversation with one of my ex coworkers um via Facebook, and was trying to educate her. She wasn't trying to hear it, and she said, I forget what she said. I forget what she said, that I was being selfish. I think she said something about selfish or something like that. I can't remember the exchange that we had. It was via Messenger on Facebook. We were going back and forth. I was trying to educate her, and she wasn't trying to hear it. So I just it just upsets me that when when and I think that this is one of the reasons why we continue to have a race problem in this country, is because people are not open to listen and be educated. We're not asking you to, you're not going to fully understand our experience, but what we want you to do is we want you to listen to us and be open to being educated. And a lot of people are not, and I think that's one of the reasons why racism continue to go on in this country, because people are not willing to have those conversations. They're not willing to have those conversations. Black people and white people can't sit down and have, as a collective, maybe certain ones, but I'm talking about as a collective. As a collective, white people and black people cannot sit down and have a constructive conversation about race without accusations being thrown everywhere. If I'm trying to educate you on my experience as and our experience as black people in this country, the last thing I need to hear is you attacking me and calling me. How am I a racist for educating you? How am I a racist for speaking out about my experience in this country as a black woman, or our experience as black people in this country? How am I being a racist simply by just educating you and speaking out against it, because of course I'm going to be against it, because it's unjust. It's unjust. Racism is unjust. It's unfair, it's unjust, it's evil, and it's mean. Okay? So I don't think a human being on this planet wants to be treated unjustly, okay, and unfairly. I think it would be safe to say that every human being on this planet expects to be treated fairly. Not any worse, not any better, but just fairly. And treated with respect. It's disrespectful, it's mean, it's evil, it's unjust, it's unfair, it's all those things. And to say that black people don't have the right to speak out against it, and when we do speak out against it, we're called names. And most of the people that say that, they don't even know what racism is. I went back and forth with people on blogs, different blogs, saying you don't even know what racism is. Half the time, they don't even know what racism is. And the mere fact that just because someone is trying to, a black person is trying to educate someone about racism, our experience as black people in this country, why we got to get called names? Why we got to get called racist and evil or whatever the situation is? Instead of, and I think that's a large part of the problem. As a collective, white people and black people cannot have a constructive conversation about race in this country. And I think that is part of the reason why these things continue to go on. Why this continues to be a problem in this country, decade after decade. It's because people are not willing to sit down and have constructive conversations. People are not willing to be open and listen and be educated without getting defensive, without, you know, it's like they take it as a personal attack against them. And when black people are trying to educate about racism, we're not trying to attack you personally. We're not trying to say you're a racist. We're just trying to educate you on our experience in this country. And oftentimes we try to educate you on the history and what's going on now. And so it's a very, very offensive to us when it's like you um and especially if you call yourself being my friend, if you call yourself like this lady that I was talking to was an ex coworker of mine, and we hit it off pretty good, on this assisted living place I was working at. We hit it off pretty good. She she didn't like a Jehovah's Witness and everything, but um she didn't like the religion. And we talked about that, and she talked about her religious beliefs. I talked about, and there was some things that we could touch and agree on as far as spiritually. So with those things that we could touch and agree on as far as spiritually, we would have actually pretty good conversations. And I respected her opinion. She respected mine. But when it came down to discussions of race, it's like, singing a different tune, trying to deflect, trying to make excuses and things like that. So I was really, really disappointed in her because we kind of bonded, and everything. So I was a little disappointed in her that she would deflect the way she did, and then she turned around and attacked me. So I just cut it off. I didn't say nothing else to her. I just told her I will not be having this conversation with you again. And I just cut it off. I said, because it's like talking to a brick wall. But I just find it offensive that you call yourself being my friend or you call yourself being cool with me. I would think that you would be more willing to and be open to hear what I have to say, and be more open and willing to be educated and I have another friend that's white, and she's more than willing to be educated, and she listens to what I have to say, and she even agrees with a lot of things that I have to say. Of course, she has biracial children, so her mindset is a little bit different. But so that's what I'm saying. If you say that you cool, if you trying to be cool with me, if you're a white person, you trying to be cool with me, I would think you would be more open and willing to listen to what I have to say instead of taking it as a personal attack against you or a personal attack against your race of people. That's not what our intention is. We're just trying to educate you. And I would think if you call yourself being this person's friend, I can understand it coming from somebody that they ain't trying to be my friend or they ain't trying to be cool for me. I can understand that a little bit. I can accept it more, but it's kind of a hard pill for me to swallow when you say you cool, you say you care about me as a person, or you trying to be my friend and you trying to be cool with me. I would think that you would be more open to listen to what I have to say, and the fact that you deflect when race comes up, because on religion we was able to touch and agree on some things and agree to disagree respectively. But then when the issue of race comes up, then you deflecting, wanna turn around and say hurtful things to me because simply because I'm trying to educate you. So that's what I really really get offended when um when white people do that. And so that's what I want to talk about, this situation that she's in now. I hope everything works out. um I'm not really going to comment on that. I digress on that. But I was just noticed that a lot of people in that blog was saying that she was a racist simply because when Whoopi talks about race, she's trying to educate. You know. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. Have you ever, as a black person, have you ever encountered that? Have you ever encountered a situation to where you try to educate someone, a white person, about racism, and then they turned around and attacked you and try to call you a racist or whatever the situation, or they deflected or whatever the situation is? Let me know what your thoughts are on that. I just get really frustrated. I don't even go there most of the time, but unless something is said that's in ignorance, I'm going to correct you on it. So let me know in the comment section what you think about that, and go ahead and hit that subscribe, like, and share. Peace and love.